Alright guys, welcome back to another video. 50 Cent is making headlines again. This time over claims that never made it into his Netflix documentary about Diddy. According to 50, there was simply too much material to fit into 4 episodes, forcing his team to cut several major points. One of those involved an alleged personal connection that was left out due to time limits. Instead of saving it for another season, 50 has hinted that the extra footage could be released on YouTube. Since the documentary aired, he says more people have reached out with new information, all asking why he's pushing this so hard. Comedian T.K. Kirkland recently addressed that question, shutting down the idea that this is about attention or petty drama, and explaining that there's a deeper, more personal reason behind 50's approach. One that adds serious weight to why this story keeps escalating.
All the women in the world that Diddy could have gotten with, he chose 50 Cent's baby mother.
It's a lot of variables to this particular question. Because I talk to a lot of people, older, younger, even my daughter, who's 22, she didn't understand it. So people give their opinion based on what they've experienced and their environment, people they've been around. So to the people that understand boundaries and respect, I always tell men you should never date another man's girl if you're not.
While 50 Cent's documentary has been pulling massive attention and earning praise across the board, not everyone is calling it a clean win. Don Deal has now stepped into the spotlight with sharp criticism, claiming parts of the project weren't as original as they appeared. According to him, some of the ideas presented didn't come from new research, but closely mirrored concepts he had already put out there without proper acknowledgement. He argues this raises serious questions about credit and creative ownership, and his comments have added a fresh layer of controversy, shifting the conversation away from just how successful the documentary is to how it was actually constructed behind the scenes.
And after the baby mother of one of his rivals.
Exactly.
Someone who had been taking shots at him for years.
Absolutely.
On purpose.
And he went after her knowing that they had beef.
Right. And slutted her out. Just slutted her out.
Slutted out.
Having a whole basketball team run a train on her.
Totally
and
did. I
just
totally
the whole
agree.
thing, right?
Totally agree.
Right.
But his reputation from when he worked at Uptown, I'll be sure's girlfriend.
Oh, Kim Porter.
Kim Porter.
Right.
That's his reputation.
I'll be sure his baby mother.
Baby mama.
Yeah.
Then Eric Serm, his friend, the one that had she had his baby, Mia. So he's had a reputation of going after people.
Tupac's ex-girlfriend. He got a baby with her too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my point that I'm making to the men listening, well, if you don't understand this, then you're just poorly educated and don't really have common sense. It's a no. There's no way I would go after Vlad's ex-girlfriend.
Right.
I'm so loyal that if I met a woman and she said, "Oh yeah, I stay Vlad," I can't f with you, baby.
Right.
I won't even put excuse my language, because that's how I move. Other people don't move like that, but you see me in Paris, you see me all over the world. Why would I want to do that?
He also weighed in on the growing talk that 50 might drop even more material online down the line, suggesting that if additional content does surface, it may be impossible for anyone to contain. Gene believes that if there were any real way to shut the documentary down, it would have already happened by now, and in his view, that reality says a lot about the current balance of power behind the scenes. To him, the fact that the project is still up and circulating speaks volumes and raises serious questions about how much influence Diddy actually still holds, and how much of that power may have already slipped away.
In the interview about, he said that he had a lot of footage had to be down. The documentary had to be downsized. You understand? I don't really believe that, because a documentary is a documentary, and they could have had 45 minutes. They could have had an hour, to each one of those. You understand? They left out certain things. He said they even left out the one about Sarah Chapman. You understand? And for whatever reason, he probably left out a lot of other different stars too. Situations that they could have spoke about. You understand? I have a problem with the documentary, and I'm just going to let you know, that the reason I have a problem with the documentary is that they know that they took my ideal. You understand? They know that when I came to them, I laid out what they should do and how the documentary should be. You understand? She could say whatever she want to say. I talked to those producers before I even talked to her. They wanted to know what I had, what I was bringing, my pictures, all that stuff like that. And I told them about me, Tim, and Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? And how it would go. They did the same thing. This ain't the first time they stole from me, man. You know, if you look at the Notorious Big, if you watch the Notorious Big, that part about the shoes, I had that in my book. And I was talking to K.O. Copeland. He was one of the writers of that movie. And I told him about when I let Big use my shoes at Soul Train Award. You had this old flunky ass dude, Mike B, get on Angie Martinez's show and talk about, yo, Big, he wore mixed max shoes and he went out there and performed. When you go look at the film, when you go look at Big performing that on that show, ain't nothing mixed match about them shoes. There was $800 Maury's, size 14D, Big World 14E. E means that his shoes is a little wider than mine. He struggled, but he put them on and he went out there and performed. Those was my Gators that he had on. You understand? They did a little skit trying to disrespect me in the movie. You understand? And they said something about, oh,
Sheen also opened up about what he described as Diddy's long-running fixation on Tupac, saying it was never just a moment or a passing issue, but something that lingered and quietly shaped many of his moves over the years. According to Gene, that mindset influenced how Diddy operated behind the scenes, guided his decision-making, and affected how he handled situations both personally and professionally, turning it into a defining factor in the way he carried himself and conducted business for a very long time.
Documentary. And if 50 do another one, and I heard he's going to put it on YouTube or do whatever he's going to do, Puff ain't going to have nothing to do with that. Puff ain't going to have nothing to do to try to stop that because he can't. Because if he could stop it, it would have been stopped. You know why he can't stop it? Because Puff know people right there at Netflix. Don't think he don't. And I don't know if this guy still worked for them, but he was part of the flavor unit, Shakim. He was part of the flavor unit. He was good friends. He was cool with Puff and them. Flavor Unit and them, Queen Latifah and them, they was cool with Puff. If Puff would have sent the cease and desist over there and they could do it and he had the power and they wasn't right, they would have been done it. You see it's still rolling, right? It's still going on, right? He ain't got that power no more. You understand? Now, could he sue them because they used his likeness or used them and stuff like that? I don't know. I'm not that versed in they using him. You understand? If they can steal your whole damn idea, your whole damn ideal, why can't they steal your whole damn intellectual property?
The documentary is not without its gaps, and one detail that immediately stood out to many viewers was how little attention was given to Kim Porter as Diddy's longtime partner and the mother of his children. Her presence in his life was undeniably significant, yet her story was only briefly touched on. She passed away unexpectedly in 2018 at just 47 years old with pneumonia, listed as the official cause, but her sudden death has continued to fuel public discussion and lingering questions given how closely she was connected to Diddy for so many years. Many felt her absence from the narrative made the documentary feel incomplete and raised concerns about what may have been left unexplored.
I did see the interview that 50 did with Sherry, and he was talking about he didn't release the video about Puff having a kid by Kim Porter's friend, Sarah Chapman. Now, we all know that she used to date Tupac. You understand? So either he got her because he wanted some remnants of Tupac. We don't know. But it seemed like every dude that he had some kind of disdain, dislike, or that he idolized in a sense, he wanted their girl. Or he wanted to be a part of their girl. I don't know why. Yo, bro, this dude was, I don't know if he was in love or in hate for Tupac. He wanted to be an actor. He auditioned for Juice. Or Pac beat him out for that Bishop thing. You understand what I'm saying? He wanted to be a part of that. Just go, and not so many years ago, when Puff started getting into that drugs and started using drug stuff, he started revamping some of Tupac's speeches. And if you think I'm lying, go look at the Grammy speech he did. Go look at a couple of speeches he did. It was the same exact words Tupac had said. That he was going to start this whole revolutionary of our people. That's Tupac. Black Lives Matter, the Black Liberation Movement, that was Pac. The Black Liberation Movement. Black Lives Matter? Come on, bro. This dude, everybody know that he had some kind of, I don't want to say disdain taste, but he had some kind of, I don't, jealousy of Tupac, bro.
She had a front row seat to his entire world, from his personal relationships to his business moves and the moments that never made it into the public eye. Yet the documentary barely acknowledged her presence. According to multiple accounts, her story was deliberately avoided, possibly because it was seen as too sensitive or too controversial to confront head-on. Gene has said he knew Kim personally and looked out for her on several occasions, and he firmly believes she knew far more than most people realize. In his view, leaving her perspective out stripped away a critical layer of context, making the overall narrative feel incomplete, despite how central she was to everything unfolding behind the scenes.
Do you think that Diddy imported her?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because of all the videotapes, because of the book, because of all the people she gave copies of her book to, or at least chapters, because of everything that she had on him, because of the tape that she used to blackmail him into a relationship and into a raise of him being sodomized by Andre Harrell. And I am not saying that allegedly, because I heard her and Kim Muir talking about it in the booth of the bathroom while snorting cane.
None of that made it into the documentary, leaving Kim reduced to a few photos and a brief mention as Diddy's children's mother. Mark Curry revealed Diddy monitored her private conversations and once confronted him angrily over a call she had with producer Shaker Stewart, highlighting the controlling dynamic the documentary ignored and raising questions about what was left untold.
It was alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. I don't know, man. How do you put your girl through some shit like that? Or how you look at your girl and knowing that she and another dude, what kind of demonic mind you have to be that far gone where that don't bother you, and got rid of them. They swimming with the fishes.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She's going to expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just curious, right? Did you know that Diddy and Kim had that type of relationship back then in real time?
Yeah. Because I know somebody personally that lives in Atlanta that was swinging with them, and I would never mention his name because he's a good brother and he knows my family down there. You know, he knows my family down there, and I would never, put his name out there like that. He's been in the music business. He done put a lot of groups, A-listed groups out there.
This seems to fit a larger pattern, especially in how the documentary treated Diddy's famous parties. For years, they were said to draw powerful figures from all industries, yet the film shows almost none of that. No big names, no real details, raising eyebrows given how openly those connections were discussed before and how quiet many of those figures remain now.
It was the other day they just did a whole thing with the girl that he was dating was the one that was putting the wiretaps and all of that out. It was a clear case. She came, hey, I was the one who was doing the wiretaping and all of this, right? The tapping. So I knew about this before she came out and said that she was the one that was doing it. I was sitting there like, damn, he know everything she doing. He know her conversation. I'm sitting there like when I'm sitting there right there next to him, when I'm hearing them saying, this is what Shakira Stewart was saying to Kim Porter on the phone that made him mad. That made him so mad at Shakira Stewart when he went to L.A. Reid party, hit him with the chair. You don't think if he hit a man with a chair for dating this girl, you know, they gonna have a fight at home too. You know what I mean? That's why, you know, they say he busts her nose up on the boat. And have you ever been to Sandro Pay's see a brother play a mandolay? Remember that was in his song? I need a good woman next to me. So then it happened in what was it, Sandro Pay? Like that island. And then he bust her nose. They tried to make it seem like she slipped and fell. She slipped and fell and broke her nose. The truth was she slipped and fell and landed on his fist. Yeah, but that's what happens when you put your hands on females. I don't really have much respect for a man who's physically abusive towards women, man. I kind of think they be thoughts on all his celebrity friends that denounced those allegations and were like, this is false, and you know,
Liars.
Should they speak up now?
It's getting a little too late for those who are complicit. Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him.
Jaguar Wright has argued that people focus too much on Diddy's music career while overlooking the influences that shaped him long before fame, saying the real story starts in his childhood home. She explained that his mother was often busy with her own life, with different people constantly coming and going, creating instability. Jaguar believes growing up around so many unfamiliar faces can leave lasting marks on a child's mindset and development. And in her view, those early experiences played a major role in shaping who he became well before the music industry ever came into play.
God knows what he saw and what happened to him in his own mama house. All of those strangers, them up involved, looking around, seeing what was going on. And let's just be clear, it sounds like her house was a house of, professional freak-offs. So who knows what he saw or what could have happened to him while she was busy entertaining people and pouring and getting tips, as she would say, for her after-hour life.
Oh, yeah. He was, I'm going to say he was surprised to hear that.
School bus driver. No, was he surprised or was he like, zip it, you talking too much? Because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like you talking a little bit too much. They don't need to know about that. While she was sitting up there, because I was a bus driver and I was this, and I worked at the after hours. And I would pour them drinks and they would get.
Jaguar also noted that Diddy has openly said he felt a sense of pride learning his father was known for a risky, street-focused lifestyle. And she believes that reaction is very telling. In her view, embracing that image instead of questioning it shows how deeply those early influences shaped his mindset, values, and sense of identity, offering insight into how his past continues to influence his actions today.
In Sean's own words, in Diddy's own words, he had said he had a sigh of relief learning that he was the son of a hustler or a gangster. Like he wanted that status. He wanted to say that he was a sigh of relief is a wild thing to say, that your daddy was a gangster or a hustler. That's what you heard that he was.
Well, I mean, like Tim said, they had a bunch of blaxploitation movies being played around the house all the time. They grew up with the Mac playing. They grew up with Superfly playing. Like, I mean, if that's what you got going on, you got two women in the house and there's no men around, and these are what the little boys are watching. You got basketball players coming over late at night. You got hustlers coming over, PIMPs coming over, women who look like they were modeling for Jet Magazine coming over. Like, it sounds like the nature of the environment is what shaped their perception of what cool was. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure for him it was, oh man, that's who my dad was. So I'm sure for him, it made him feel good because all of that stuff that he was watching, he really came from that. But that was really his legacy. And yeah, I'm sure for him, it felt good to know that his dad was this big hustler who turned out to be a snitch, who got his brains removed.
She connects that mindset to how hip-hop later glorified similar figures, noting many rap personas drew inspiration from old movie characters symbolizing power, fear, and dominance. Jaguar believes Diddy didn't just admire that image from afar, he felt personally connected to it because it mirrored the environment he grew up in. According to her, that connection went beyond music or branding and shaped how he saw himself. She also described his relationship with his mother as unusual and unsettling, hinting at an underlying reason that added an eerie layer to the bigger picture she was painting.
For the situation where they say he was trying to shape Misa into his mother, can you see that? Like,
yeah, with the blonde hair and yeah, and all of that. I mean, somebody
really
asked a question: what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same kind of man who seems to have accurate knowledge that his elderly mother can put both of her hands, her palms, on the floor and while she's standing up, bent over.
Oh damn! I ain't seen that one. Oh,
You never seen the Instagram video where he was talking about how his mom was still young and spry and how she still liked to party and how they was getting a IV drip
oh, damn!
and she was kissing him in the mouth on the video and he was like, yeah, my mom can bend over and touch the floor with her palms. It's a very, very, very
Jaguar believes it comes full circle when looking at Diddy's relationship with his own children, which she describes as deeply concerning. She says multiple sources claim the kids were exposed to environments they should never have seen, raising serious questions about boundaries and responsibility. In her view, the most troubling part isn't just the situation itself, but the silence around it, leaving people to wonder what kind of parenting allows that and why so many adults who knew chose to stay quiet.
You know, it kind of goes into. I mean, he seems to be having, and again, I know the freak offs that his son is there. Like, it seems like he likes to get down with his kids.
yeah. But that wasn't all. Just the to hear little Rod say, like, the boys were around. Roger Bonds talked about the children as well. What kind of parenting relationship is that? But then again, that goes back to the conversation of Lori Harvey, Steve Harvey's daughter. It was all known that she was spotted in them streets with Justin, and then she was spotted in them streets with Diddy, and they all tried to sit there and pretend like that wasn't what it was. Like, I don't know if anybody has not noticed, but ever since Diddy got pinched, They've all been trying to pretend like all of the stuff that we've seen that happened, that they was all involved in, didn't happen. If Lori Harvey was hanging out with, and it's kind of weird, like the whole relationship with Justin looks weird. He looks like Mini-Me with Dr. Evil. It's weird. Like, why are there people? Why is there sexual behavior going on? And why are people naked in front of their kids, G? Doing all kinds of stuff. And meanwhile, Misa's running around making comments about how she don't like the way that Eric Sermon was depicting her in the documentary. You don't like the way you're being talked about in the documentary. You don't like the fact that, because see, it wasn't Gene Deal, because Gene Deal said he wasn't there, and thank God that he was able to admit that. Kirk Burrows did say that he was there and present when Diddy was beating the brakes off Misa and putting the feet to her up under.
What other claims or revelations could emerge if 50 Cent releases a second wave of footage? Could there be more untold stories, hidden connections, or explosive insights about Diddy's life and choices? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know what you think might come next as this story continues to unfold.